Voila. Yes, the moment you've been waiting for. The infamous return of Floating Head Maximus. Yes, back by popular demand. In reality, this has only been about the fourth time I've done this, but a shout out to the Cornwells, who I think always appreciate me doing this. So, anyway, yeah, it's back. Glad to do it. Said to myself, it's time. Let's do it. So, I thought it had a pretty good effect. I think, if anything, um, it's got a nice. I got rid of the vapor trail. I'll say that much. No more vapor trail, but other than that, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. So with that said, we have quite a few. You know, I shouldn't say quite a few. A decent amount of crypto news to share with you. Believe it or not, we're going to start things off with Casper. We're going to do something a little bit different. Shout out to Mike Cornwell, who tagged me the other day, and I looked more further into it, and I said, "Wow, this is something else. Let's go ahead and start off the news headlines the right way with some Casper." But before we jump into the rest of what we have, we will get into the comments here briefly. But yeah, it's going to be Casper, a little bit of Quant, XRP, I believe some XDC, and then also some ALBT. And then we're going to also take a look into the overall crypto market, show you guys what I've been looking at, things to maybe acknowledge what you've been looking at and so on. So yeah, should be a great show. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like. Simply helps us, get the show out to more and more people. But we're only about 2 minutes into it anyway. We have late stragglers and stuff like that because let's face it, there's other shows and those other shows are still going. And it's not like, cable television where everything's programmed and everything's in sync, right? Not everybody's on the same page, and rightfully so. All right. So let's see here. We have Eddie T's in the house. Good to see you. First comment of the day, as Larry used to say, congratulations. You won absolutely nothing. But in reality, in the future, that will change. Thanks for being here, Eddie T. As usual, smash that like button, jeez, and sub. Green Candle Fanatic is here. Thank you for being here. Yes, props to Eddie T, as always. Good to see you, though. Green Candle Fanatic, thanks for retweeting the show. Really appreciate it. Tim Shea says, hey, because that's his line. Let's face it. The Commissioner of Crypto. What do you like better, Tim Shea? I always wondered. Do you like the Commissioner of Crypto or the Crypto Mayor? Or are you just like, you know what? I'm going to rock with both of them. I'm cool with both. All right. Speaking of the Cornwells, Mrs. Michael April Cornwell is here in his house. She says, hey, all you beautiful crypto enthusiasts. Hope everyone had a beautiful day. She's in love with Michael Cornwell, and she has flowers for everybody. How about that? So I have to kind of be careful because I lose the effect of my floating head. But anyway, Salamander, XDC Commander, states, hello, everyone. Max bought more quant today. I see the light. All right, cool, man. Right on. Very, very cool. We got some things to address in regards to quant. Shout out to, for instance, Greg Lunt, who I believe it was not last Thursday, but it was the Thursday before last Thursday. So probably about 2 weeks now. Actually, not 2 weeks. A little over a week. What am I talking about? So a little over a week ago, he was addressing the whole thing with the supply. We're going to jump into that. We're going to squash some more FUD. Yeah, love squashing FUD. But glad to see you here. Glad to see you got some more quant. Anyway, everybody saying hello to each other. Thank you for that. Brian Dowie's in the house. First saying hello to Eddie T, which is cool. Good to see Mr. Brian Dowie. Booyaka. Right back at you. Let me jump further down. ALBT, got a little bit about that. I will state this. The CEO of ALBT, he got invited to a guy who has about roughly 690 subs to talk specifically about ALBT. So I don't know. Maybe we should reach out to him as well. It'd be pretty cool to do that. But it sounds like this guy's really, he's really trying to support everybody, no matter how big your channel is. That's super cool. So who knows? Maybe we'll be able to have him on the show someday. I think we should try to reach out to him. Anyway, Going further down, I see that GS is in the house. Thanks for being here, GS. Not to be confused with the Golden State. Thanks for being here. Brittany's in the house. Good to see you, Brittany. Happy Friday. Yes, best day of the week, right? Let's go further down. Let's see here. GS. Fat Man Scoop. I guess that's referred towards me. Yeah, every time I do the whole floating head thing, somebody makes a comment about the Fat Man thing, but that's okay. Sub GS. Sobo's in the house. Hey all. Good to see you, Sobo. Thank you for being here. Let me see here. Let me go further down. Fern J75 is in the house. Got some, he says, got me some LCX and Gala. Will be a good night. Yeah, those are some good picks right there. I didn't realize that a long time ago. I guess Larry covered Gala like way back. Like we're talking late 2021, maybe early 2022. Anyway, thanks for being here for J75. Bactron is back. Thank God it's Friday, gang. Hey Tim, Max, thanks for being here, Bactron. All right. Before we kick it into the actual show, we're just going to welcome a few more people. Yes. Yep. The floating head. Apparently the floating lint. I don't know how that happened. Anyway. I don't have no lint. Maybe it's just the weird lighting. Anyway, let's go further down. Mr. Lambos is in the house. Thanks for being here. What's up, CTM family? And let's see. We got Fern Jason, 15 pounds. Oh boy, I don't know where this is going. All right, big watch, dude. Hey, Max, the CTN family. Thanks for being here, big watch, dude. Appreciate you. Loading up more ALBT LCX before the weekend pump. That's good. That's always good. It's good to have more and more bags of those specific ones. All right. Mr. Lambos, Crypto Talk says, Max, have you taken a look at ARC Block ABT? Not yet. I am aware of it. I'm aware it's not a typo for ALBT. Originally, I thought it was many months ago, but it's not. And if you guys are just connecting, please, by all means, hit that like button for we can tick up to the next tier of 30, maybe go to 40. It'd be really cool. I meant to get some recorded videos out today. Didn't have a chance to yet, but I will tonight. All right, let's see here. We have Kev Cleveland who's back. LCX to the moon. Yes, thanks for being here, Kev. Welcome back. Just about to start getting into the show. Let's see here. GS says, floating Klaus. Max, do it. Okay. Welcome to Crypto Talk Now, the unofficial sponsored show by the World Economic Forum. In today's show, we will feature the Liechtenstein Exchange. Guten Tag to all of our viewers in Eastern Europe and the rest of the world, like the United States. I am your host, Mr. Klaus Schwab, the floating head. Not really. Anyway, let's go further down. All right, Green Candle Fanatic, old music video reminded me was all. Oh, okay, right on. Boxtron states ALBT CEO is a very chill dude. He seems like he is. You saw him a few times giving interviews. Maybe you saw the one I saw. It was with this one guy with about 690 subs. Awesome to see him on your show. It would be cool. I would definitely want to reach out to him. Crypto Talk Now says Selmo Flood with my floating arm? It kind of looks funky. Well, my floating arm beat. Where's the floating arm beat the clap out of Mr. Schwab? Oh, I don't know. Not really. But good to see you, Selmo. Thanks for being here. Rayan's in the house. Hello. Let's show the world what Morgan Stanley show the secrets about quant. Well, my last name is Stanley. So, all right. Eddie T, Crypto Talk Now has started. Smash that like button and sub. Yes, right. Thank you very much. Samo, you down with XRP? You know he's going to see you know me. Daniel Delgado's in the house. Thank you for being here. We're about 10 minutes into the show. Good evening, CTN crew and Maximus. Thank you very much. Tim is his boss, of course. course he is. He is the commissioner of crypto. All right. We're almost about to get into it. Larry likes Liechtenstein. All right. Jawohl, Pers. Guten Tag. Welcome to Crypto Talk now. Never mind, I'm not going to do that. Let's get into the show. All right. So, with that said, we do have some headlines for you. We're going to start off with Casper, believe it or not, which is totally an untraditional approach, but why not? Mike Cornwell has some interesting info with you all to hear about tonight from the floating head. All right, let's get into it. So I did go ahead and fast forward to the part, the juicy stuff. So let me take that off of mute. But yeah, we're gonna get into it right now. And if anything, here it is. Let me share it in a way you can see it and hear it, because why not? So it says the truth about Casper Network. Is Casper a sleeping giant? Well, for one, let me hit a like on this one. This comes from the Beanstalk. They are crypto and stocks. Kind of a cool name, actually. But anyway, this is right after the part about the ecosystem, and it gets right into these specific partnerships and why they matter. You're going to hear, for instance, some of the ones that you're already used to. You're also going to hear about, for instance, Casper, obviously, and another one that we bring up quite a bit, Filecoin. Let's listen to this just for a little bit. Really something. Here we go.
I was trying to see, because they don't have a ton of partnerships besides IBM, and I know they have these NDAs with these Fortune 500 companies, but I find it interesting that they're the member of the Hyperledger Foundation, and this is interesting. So the Hyperledger Foundation is an open source community focused on developing a suite of stable frameworks, tools, and libraries for enterprise grade blockchain. So huge names are part of this, but it's mostly like companies that you'd be familiar with. Oracle, Visa, Walmart, Verizon, Bank of England. So it's like big organizations. Here's what's interesting. There's only 5 crypto projects in this Hyperledger Foundation. Here are the names: Quant, Hedera Hashgraph, Filecoin, Ripple, and Casper. So you only have a few names with working within this foundation, which I think is huge. Like they're buddying up to the right people within this foundation.
I mean, that's a nice list of 5 projects you just put on there. And I bet you most crypto heads can easily name those first 4, but many of them cannot name that 5th one, right? It's Casper. I think we might be uncovering a hidden gem here.
Yeah.
So if you look into some of the companies, the bigger companies that they are working with, we mentioned their partnership program with IBM. Well, they've worked with IBM on building with a company called IPWE.
Yeah,
IPWE. So they built an NFT-based chain of custody. So it's patent records.
Yeah.
They're putting patent records on the blockchain in partnership with IBM. So that's a huge one.
They said in a couple of weeks, they're going to be launching millions of patents on Casper.
That's pretty cool.
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Millions.
Coming, baby.
I know.
Think about what you just said, guys. I mean, did anybody catch that? In a couple of weeks, all those particular patents, like how many you just mentioned? Are we not listening? I'm sure we are. Has this not gotten your attention yet? Because it definitely has gotten mine. And if Mike Cornwell is tagging me out of the blue, not exactly out of the blue, but to mention the likes of this, it's important. We should pay more attention to Casper. Again, I'm not trying to twist anybody's arm. At least I feel as though it is definitely newsworthy. Like it says, is Casper a sleeping giant? And at these particular prices, I think it could very well be. We're going to hear a little bit more about this. We'll kick it back in the comments in just a brief bit. And if anything, after that, we'll see what's going on with the price. I saw there was a recent pump. Not too super crazy, but it was in regards to Casper. Let's jump more back into it.
Another cool one I saw was a company called MetaCask. So Casper, they've chosen Casper to build their smart contract platform. It's for like alternative investing is becoming very big these days, like investing in, I don't know, watches or sports collectibles or Pokemon cards. So for people that are really into whiskey, you can buy specific whiskey casks from around the world, like a 25-year aged Scotch from the island of whatever in Scotland.
Yeah.
You can buy this and your ownership is all stored and traded on the blockchain using this MetaCask software. So it's like putting whiskey casks as NFTs.
Right.
So you own this cask that maybe it's in Scotland.
Just want to take a moment to thank Crypto Channel for the $10 super chat. Thank you very, very much. Really, really do appreciate it. I see that you are a fan of Jasmine. We're looking to do more updates in regards to Jasmine. We did a deep dive not that long ago. It was a big hit. Over 1,700 views, quite a few new subscribers. But Crypto Channel, welcome back. I believe I saw you here before. And just wanted to, of course, thank you for that $10 super chat. Let us know if you really do have your own crypto channel. We'd be more than glad to feature it. We're going to get a little bit more in regards to this coverage about Casper Network. Casper is sleeping giant. Just about maybe a couple more minutes, and then we'll kick it back in the comments and so on. Here we go.
Or in Japan, but it's on the blockchain, so you know it's yours,
That's sick.
and you can trade them.
Fuck yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I as a whiskey guy myself, I think that's an awesome idea. And back in the old days, I used to work as a bartender at a whiskey bar, and I can tell you the clientele would love that.
Fuck
Man,
yeah.
if they could buy a cask from 30-year-old Glenfiddich and trade it as an NFT,
That's
that's a
sick.
great idea.
That's actually a good segue into the new NFT standard that they've come up with, and that's CEP78. They just introduced this. It's secure, sustainable, and again, upgradable smart contracts. So this is the upgradable, future-proof NFTs. So this is absolutely massive for artists, for doing the whiskey barrels, etc. So now the owner of an NFT can now adjust things as time moves on. So
yeah, that's a really cool one.
Yeah, man.
Here's another cool one I found about.
Now, I want us to stop there for just a moment. We'll kick it in a little bit more. Notice what he said at the beginning of this particular clip. Yeah, it was fast forward to 12 minutes and so on. But remember how he mentioned that, Casper, for instance, was mentioning the likes of like Quant, for instance. So you already hear this whole thing about, secure smart contracts and whatnot. You already hear about the whole thing with NFTs. We recently covered the whole thing of QRC 721 in regards to specifically like NFTs and providing just that extra layer of security specifically for NFTs. What I'm gathering from a lot of this, when we talk about, for instance, the utility run, think about what's all involved with that. This is not some coincidence. It's the ones with real solid utility. And, you're seeing this particular outline with the likes of Casper and so on. Casper has been on my short list for a while now. I might just finally jump the gun. I don't know if I'll do it with an 8% pump, but nonetheless, let's face it, some people will take the profits and so on. But let's get a little bit back into this for a brief moment. Let's hear a little bit more. And then, like I mentioned, we'll come right back for some more commentary from you guys in the comments. And we'll go from there. If you're just tuning in, thanks for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now. Please hit that like button on your way in. Definitely helps us to get this out to more and more people. Today's headlines are Casper Network. Is Casper a sleeping giant? Thank you for joining us here tonight for a special edition of Crypto Talk Now with Floating Head Maximus. All right, here we go.
Casper. So there's this publicly traded company. We used to talk about this company back in when we were uncovering certain types of stocks. It was called WKey. Back when the NFTs were really ripping.
WiseKey.
Yeah, WiseKey.
Yeah.
So Casper, they've chosen Casper to build their NFT technology. And what WiseKey is, it's like an Internet of Things kind of data network. And they have their Internet of Things devices on SpaceX satellites. So now Casper technology is on SpaceX satellites.
That's it.
And eventually, when there are enough of these space,
good God, Mike Cornwell, is this it just keeps getting better and better and better, or what? Millions of patents. In reality, it's not millions of patents. I'm with Green Candle Fanatic in regards to that, right? But let's face it, right? Even if it was just 100, that's very impressive. On top of this whole thing with SpaceX. It's like, are you not impressed? Are you not entertained? Let's get more into it. Here we go.
SpaceX satellites launched around the world. They're going to be holding people's data in the blockchain through these WiseKey devices, which is powered by Casper.
Wow. That's crazy.
Elon Musk
Elon
connection.
Musk.
Yeah. It's an Elon Musk
It'll
connection.
be into Twitter next.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, they're doing some pretty interesting things. The fact that no one's talking about them.
Another thing is they were chosen to become the blockchain of choice for the city of Fuzhou, China. You know how China is with their crypto.
Yeah.
The fact that they're one of their major cities has chosen Casper as their blockchain of choice.
Yep.
A lot of people over there.
Yeah, and to the same tune as that, I found out that they have been working with. We were just talking about Polygon in another episode. They are working with the government of Telangana. I don't know, it's some region in India, but it has 50 million people in it.
Yeah.
They're the official blockchain partner of the government there to build all these blockchain infrastructures. You know, you think it's only a region of India, but it has 50 million people in it.
Yeah.
And just the fact that they're making partnerships in China, making partnerships in India, they're making partnerships in America, you can see that they're really building under the radar. Like no one knows about this project, and look at all the shit they're doing.
I know it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know why nobody, like, literally nobody talks about this layer one. You want to talk about a project that provides max.
All right, so we're definitely talking about this layer one. We're definitely talking about Casper. We have talked about Casper before. Shout out to Mike Cornwell who turned us on to a lot of this stuff, right? Some of you other guys as well. I'm not trying to leave out any names or anything like that, but if anything, I'll take more of my own deeper dive into it. I already saw some of this earlier, but yeah, I just kind of want to stop it at that particular moment and so on. Mike, if you happen to know of any other key areas that maybe I missed that's further ahead, by all means, we can fast forward to that. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining us here tonight. The show just literally got in, started not that long ago. We were just kind of welcoming quite a few people. See, we have about roughly 40 people. Again, try to hit that like if you don't mind. Let's welcome a few more people. And if anything, we'll kick it into a little bit more news coverage we have for you here at Crypto Talk Now on the specific special edition of Floating Head Crypto. Yes. All right. Good to see Rafael Santos in the house. Hello, guys. Good to see you from the Philippines, Rafael. Or as you would say, Sir Rafael. Speaking of which, since last August, the thumb finally healed. It used to be smashed, and now it's all healed up. All right, so people saying hello to Rafael, which is always a good thing. Let's welcome Mass Debater. He says, "Greetings, everybody. Good to see you, Mass." Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle Manizzle for show. He says, upgrades from Web 2 to 3, etc. expands as everything upgrades. And another thing that was so impressive is the whole thing with Starlink, right? I mean, my goodness. Mass states, apologies last night, but I was so tired I actually fell asleep after logging in. Oh, it's all good. I totally understand. Especially if you've been up like very, very early. I think the day before that I was up to since, 5 a.m. I mean, that used to be a regular thing for me. Every day was 5:45 a.m. and then get to sleep about midnight or 12:30, no later than 1, and then do it all over again. 3 jobs. That was pretty insane. But anyway, let's get further down. I see, for instance, you guys are welcome, Mass, which is good. Crypto McDizzle says, listen to these partnerships coming up. Yep, we definitely did. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for tagging me and stuff like this. I appreciate it because, I mean, it gets to the important stuff that we need to know a little bit more about. And it's nice to see other people covering it. Like those guys are saying, why isn't anybody talking about this and so on? Well, here's the thing, right? It's about getting in early when it comes to these particular projects. And, Casper definitely is obviously stood out. So thank you for that. IBM, Verizon, SpaceX. Damn. I mean, here's another thing, right? We could also draw that particular comparison to the likes of HBAR, right? HBAR has an IBM partnership. They have Boeing. In the last deep dive I did for HBAR, right? For instance, NASA, So what do all these ones have in common? They're part of, for instance, ISO 222, but the main thing is the quantum financial system. That's the main key thing. And there's about 20 that are part of that list. And some of those are still very undervalued. You know what? How this one that we don't even talk about as much as we should, because I don't know, I guess some of the news has been kind of flying under the radar lately. XDC. If I look at a lot of these, whether it's Casper, some of these other ones, even HBAR, now that it's had a pump of like, a little over 6 cents, a little under 7 cents. Guys, let's face it, XDC is very, very undervalued still. It's still below 3 cents. Not financial advice, but that's the way I'm looking at it. Good to see you again, Selmo. Thanks for being here. Green Candle Fanatic, does that mean Starlink uses Casper? Well, if anything, like the guy mentioned, the partnerships and so on. But again, guys, part of doing more of our own particular research and so on, we should look more into that. I'll definitely try to take more of a deeper dive into it with my own research. If I find anything real super solid to back up some of these claims, because just because I saw a YouTuber say it, these guys, I mean, they seem cool. Don't get me wrong. But we should all do our own due diligence to try to verify things. So I will try to. I don't even have to write this down. This is one easy to remember. I'm gonna take a deeper dive into it and so on. And once I get something really solid, I definitely want to share that with the community in regards to a deep dive. I think that's something that really would stand out. And if anything, people would appreciate it. All right, let's go down to Tim Shea. He says Bitcoin's next stop will be 25K if it can get past that on the 30K. That's a good point. All right. Everybody's welcome. Mass, thank you for doing that. Let's get further down. Mike C. Someone Foot is giving you some props. XXI Gaming's back. Yes, sir. Bomb show, 100%. Thank you very much. As if you're referring to their show as well, thank you very much as well, XXI. Always good to see you, man. Crypto channel, just give some verification. If you happen to have your own channel, we'll definitely love to give you a plug and recognize you that way. Again, thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Big Watch Dude states he bought a small bag of Casper last summer. Never thought much about it after that. Well, what was your entry point? If you don't mind sharing that, it's up to you. I still feel it's very underrated, very undervalued. River Runner's here. Says, hi, guys. Good to see you, River Runner. Welcome back. We're almost about 28 minutes into the show. What's good, Tim? Web3 soon. Yep. McDizzle says, floating head crypto, trademarked by Mike for use by Maximus. A little head never hurt anyone. Man, how true is that? I'll just leave it at that. I know it's supposed to be family friendly, but I'll just leave it at that. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Let's get further down. Let's see here. Tim Shea says hello to River Runner. Everybody's saying hello to River Runner. People need to say hello to Mr. XXI Gaming in the house. What's good, Brian? Love that everybody's giving each other mad props, mad love. Watermelon Crypto Sugar Highs in the house says, good evening, Max, the CTM family. Booyaka, right back at you. And this time when I do it, there's no black mark on my thumb where it got smashed by the windowsill. Man, it hurt like hell when that happened. That was back in August. Anyway, but as your nails grow, so it pushes up the black and blue stuff, and then eventually it works itself out. Anyway, but yeah, my whole thumb, the whole thing was like black. It was horrible, and every time I put pressure on it, just hurt like hell. It felt like literally like a firecracker going off in my hand. I never had that happen. So, all right. Let's go further down. Let's see here. And I'm talking about the good firecrackers, the kind that you get from an Indian reservation, right? Native American reservation, not the kind that you buy at your local fizzle fart, garbage fireworks stands. All right, let's get further down. We have Emmanuel, who is back. Good evening, everyone. Emmanuel, consider changing your avatar. Something speaks more of who you are and what you're about if you want. But I do recognize you, and I'd like to welcome you back. Good to see you here. Rayan says, I swear someone is deleting my comment. I don't think so, because I get a notification about it. It'll say something about it, but I don't think anybody would do that. Sometimes for some people, like for instance, Green Candle Fanatic, I remember watching through my phone one time. And it says something like, it gives a little notification to moderators and says like to approve the message or whatnot. But I don't know. I don't think anybody would intentionally try to do that. So if that's going on, Rand, sorry about that. It's not intentional. XXI Gaming says, was talking about the CTN. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, man. Cool. Big Watch Dude says, I believe it was 3 cents. Tim Shea, Rand, sometimes YouTube deletes if you write a website. Yeah, that is true. It is true. Unless you're like, I believe a moderator or you're the owner. Like for instance, like Larry, technically he's the first person to create this. So that used to be an issue. Like I would come on in the comments as MaximusCrypto and I will link people and then it would delete my whole comment automatically. And I was like, to hell with this. I need to have access to where it shows Crypto Talk now, and then I'll just put like -max in the comments. That way people know it's me commenting. Because that was so annoying. Like to do a big, long, drawn out, I shouldn't say drawn out, that makes me sound bad. A good reply, right? And then, somebody asks a question like, like about staking, for instance. I give them a link, all that stuff, and just have it deleted instantly. Not cool, YouTube. Don't say that, Max. They might delete you. Yeah, probably. Jeez. All right. Green Candle Fanatic is laughing. Oh, ish. I copyright. Yeah. Anyway. Boom. All right. Grant Roger. Casper presale price was 0.01. That's not too shabby. All right. Mr. McDizzle. YouTube will not post certain comments depending on the words. Yeah. Censorship. And this is another reason why I think a lot of people like Rumble. So that is something. I know it gets old hearing us say this, but we have been looking more into it, and that is trying to get on Rumble. Not getting rid of YouTube, but just an extra platform. All right, XXI Game, it says, Max, you're gonna get some MMII keys, or you good on the NFT side? I know you want the money. LOL. No, I'm not gonna probably. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't believe it and so on. My thing is, I am looking for at least 10x's, 1000x's, and so on. Not to say that I won't do that. It's just not on my particular short list at the moment. So it's not me fudding it or anything like that. But I'm glad to see that they came out with what they came out with and so on. I did see, for instance, all those keys to the city on OpenSea. Looks pretty impressive. So, all right, let's get it further down. A couple more comments, and then we'll kick it into a little bit more of our particular news coverage. I want to welcome this particular person, who is Akbard JXX. Welcome. IOTA, undervalued, all supply already in market. Your point of view. That is my point of view. I saw that a while back. And if anything, I think we get past some of the all-time highs that we originally had and so on. That's another one that's part of the, the ISO list and so on. Part of that, for instance, quantum financial system doesn't get talked about enough. And that is, shout out to Rich Common Sense Crypto. He pointed that out about how the whole supply is already out and so on. So those are really, really good things. And then, sitting at where are we at with IOTA? Let me set. Technically, it's MIOTA on the ticker symbol. So I'm looking at right now. I mean, it's sitting at a little over 24 cents, a slight, increase. I mean, do we really call it a pump? Not really. 6% up. But when it comes to it, there's 161% volume up. And IOTA is back in 2017 was high as $5. I think we get past that, especially when we have the utility runs happens, and it affects a lot of these other lesser known utility tokens and coins and so on. I think, for instance, IOTA gets back to where it needs to be. I don't know if I specifically will add it to my list, my short list, but it's definitely on my list. It's one of the few of the ISOs I don't have yet. I'm fully convinced of it about it. I'm a fan of it. But I do have quite a few that I need to just either add more or I need to make an entry point. But it could move up on that particular list. I might make it to my short list. Currently, it's not on my short list, but I am a fan of it. And I do recognize its utility. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, no problem, XXI. Crypto McDizzle for shizzle. IOTA is a big deal. Bag up. Yeah, absolutely. Rayan, I would agree with you, Crypto Mike. That's a good point. Find Crypto Mason. He got new thunder about quant. Okay. Hey, Ekbar and IOTA might have to check that one out. Yeah, a lot of people need to. All right. So let's get back into our particular coverage. This time it's in regards to quant. I'll pull that up right now. It's from the great Greg Lunt, one of the quant all-stars, if you will. So this is breaking news. Check this out. It says the Bank of International Settlements. You're always hearing Crypto Lulu, who, let's face it, he mainly covers XRP, but he's into some of these other ones as well. He's always talking about the Bank of International Settlements. So why does it matter? Why do we pay attention to it? Well, specifically, listen to this. We have already drawn the quant connection to the likes of CBDCs, whether it's for, the UK, heck, what they're doing here in the United States, especially with, let's face it, Latin America as well, right? Quant definitely stands out. But listen to this. In coordination with the Bank of England, the Bank of International Settlements is moving to phase 2 of their quote unquote UK CBDC API project. And we already talked about, for instance, just that Quant's connection to specifically various different payment APIs. I mean, literally, you can think of all the main ones that are out there, whether it's, Amazon Web Services, PayPal, some of these other ones, right? I mean, literally at every single turn of the corner, you could draw that connection with Quant. So now add another one to it, right? The UK CBDC API project. If you're not convinced Quant is involved here, you're simply not paying attention. And if anything, if you guys have been following us, especially on a recorded section where a lot of you guys came from originally and did the jump to the live, which by the way, we appreciate that. We have already drawn that connection of Quant to CBDCs, and especially when it comes to the UK CBDC, especially with Gilbert Verdian having, for instance, one of his friends who ended up being what? Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister of the UK. So we're going to jump into this for just a brief moment. And it says specifically from Blockchain for Banking, main news headlines, UK CBDC API project invites participants for the next phase. And that's good. You want to see this because anything is not, something which they just want to, jump into it without doing a little bit more testing, right? Kind of like in crypto, right? You have test nets, you have main nets, and so on. So look at this. It says the Bank of International Settlements, who is the BIS, has invited organizations to apply to participate in the second phase of Project Rosalind. And of course, Crypto Lulu talks specifically about, for instance, Project Rosalind. I did a little bit of coverage in regards to Project Hamilton, if you remember some of these particular deep dives. But, it's important to understand where we're going with this. So it says the joint initiative with the Bank of England to develop an API for retail central bank digital currency, that is already going on in regards to Project Rosalind. So applications close on February 10th, which is just right around the corner, and there will be a tech sprint through March. It's more than a coincidence if you think about it, with everything coming up with ISO 222. A tech sprint through March. It doesn't say a tech sprint through May or June or anything like that. Why? Because if anything, by summer, watch out for the likes of Quant. Quant is really going to stand out for CBDCs by summer. We're talking about June, maybe July at the latest. But the consistent pattern has been mentioned multiple times for summer. All right, a little bit more in regards to this. So here it comes straight from the Bank of International Settlements. Mentions Project Rosalind Phase 2, Tech Sprint, supplementary information. If you're wondering what Project Rosalind is, we'll just give you the quick gist. So it says Project Rosalind aims to develop prototypes of an API platform to distribution retail CBDCs. And it's just that it is purely experimental, but it's the key is having these organizations come in, onboarding them and so on, getting past the testnet phase, and then having it become quote unquote mainnet, but not just mainnet, where we have, for instance, the implementation period and actually roll out a real CBDC by summer of this year. That's one of the key things, right? So getting more into it, says that specifically, this API could be best to enable a central bank ledger to interact with payment interface providers, which are PIPs, or PIPs, I should say. It will also explore some of the functionalities that require to enable a diverse and innovative set of use cases to be developed by the private sector. So this is good. You like the idea that you have, for instance, Gilbert Verdian of Quant, who has outlined in the past that when they do a CBDC for the UK, it's not just going to be something in which is not tied, for instance, to the likes of blockchain technology and so on. He gets it. And obviously he does. He's from Quant. We're talking about the overledger, the operating system. So what is going to be entailed with this? What are they going to be able to bring as far as that scope? Well, here's the particular answer. It says, the project aims, listen to this, to explore interoperability, well, obviously connection between different systems and different forms of money. So for instance, you have privacy, the FAPI, ISO 222, right? We're talking about that messaging system, why it's important, not just for speed, but also because of security. Account-based versus token-based. The project will not explore resilience, performance, cybersecurity, throughput efficiency, and so on, and not just some of these. It's a lot of them. That's actually a typo, but I was going to state it's really something else. Glad that Greg Lunt covered this a little bit more. There's more of a deeper dive into it. You can actually go straight to this right here. This is more of the full detail version from Project Rosalind, and it breaks it down from a scope of January 2023, dating all the way back to June, I should say, 2022. And for instance, you see that they have this right here. It says based on two-tier distribution model, central bank and the foundation of the retail CBDC system and customer-facing activities carried out by the private sector. The objective is to explore how this interface could best enable central bank ledger to interact with the private sector service providers to safely provision retail payments. And again, that's one of the main key takeaways. Another thing I'm going to mention before we kick it back in the comments is it will also explore some functionalities required to enable a diverse and innovative set of use cases to be developed by the private sector. So it's good to see this. We'll follow this a little bit more. I think it's more than a coincidence that they're trying to fast track this by March because of ISO 222 coming out on March 20th. So glad to share that with you guys. We have a little more, I believe, quant coverage, if I'm not mistaken, to squash some FUD. Let's kick it back into the comments here for a brief moment. And let's see who we have next. We have Mentalec. You know I'm going to say Mentalec. Hello. Is it Mentalec you're looking for? Lionel Richie. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is, according to Larry. All right. Going further down, good vibes by Akbard JXX. Thanks for being here. Brian Dowie says up to Mentalect, and Mass states, must admit, IOTA isn't something I have in my bag. It's certainly legit from what I've seen her. And I think that's the general consensus for a lot of people when it comes to IOTA. They recognize IOTA, but for whatever reason, it's not exactly one that they may have part of their quote unquote ISO portfolio. And maybe it's just one that kind of flies a little bit under the radar. But what stands out for me is what you saw, for instance, with what Akbar mentioned earlier, and that is about that circulating supply that makes it that much more attractive, because when you draw that conclusion, you can even throw that to the mix of the likes of, for instance, Quant. We know that, for instance, with ALBT, that will be the case here later this year with that particular circulating supply. So that's very appealing in itself without even doing more and more of our own particular research, which we should do at all times. But that sounds pretty darn cool to me. All right, further down, we got Akbar JXX again states Quant and IOTA connection in INATBA, who Gilbert Verdin is also part of that. Gilbert Verdin is part of everything, if you think about it, right? You have the Digital Pound Foundation, INATBA, some of these other ones. He's just all over the place, and that's super cool. All right, Crypto Gods in the house, welcome. If I haven't welcomed you before, LCX to the moon. Yep, it's still pumping last I checked. Mass, same here. Always mean to DCA into, for instance, I guess you're saying IOTA, but you haven't yet. I'm pretty sure that's what you mean. All right, so CryptoGoss says, Tim, you bagged any LCX? I'm sure he'll answer you in a bit. Let's get further down. I think Max is a closet MMI holder. No, I just don't choose to. I'm not gonna comment about that. I just we were the first to break news about them and so on. I'll just leave it at that. That's all I'm gonna say, because I do not want to say anything wrong, because it's not fair to people like yourself. All right, let's go further down. But I do believe that it's a great project. It's just something else I don't want to comment about. Anyway, Tim Shea, I have a bag of LCX. Let me go further down. I still mystified as to why APT pumped so much. It has a good thing. It's Sorry, I had a piece of hair on me just all of a sudden fell. I'm still mystified as to why APT pumped so much. It was good, I should say. That great fundamentals. I'm truly mystified. Huh. All right. We were here when nobody was. We will reap the rewards. I agree. I totally agree. All right. If you guys haven't done so already, please hit that like button. I'll go ahead and highlight this again. Smash the like button. Yes. Smash it. Thank you very much. All right. Let's get back in the comments. I think next is what else we have here. I didn't highlight. All right. Let's get further down. Yeah, that was the one. All right. So, sorry. GS LCX is fire. It is. Crypto God states no touching APT scam pumps. Yeah, I'm not really fully aware of that one. Crypto God says I heard the team for APT been dumping. Already checked Twitter. All right. What low caps are you guys bullish on? Well, here's the thing. If you're talking about low cap, technically you can still state that ALBT is a low cap. So I'm bullish on that. Technically LCX, you can kind of somewhat say that. But there's a difference between micro caps too, right? So for me personally, I want to take a deeper dive into Stronghold. I saw that's part of that particular quantum financial system. That's a micro cap. Why is it on that particular list? I want to learn more, but I need to do more of my own research before you even start talking more about it and so on. But anyway, let's go further down. Crypto God states he's feeling bearish recently. The euphoria on CT is scary. Okay. Let me go further down. You guys think the market is overly bullish? Yeah, in a good way. I did a deep dive in regards to the bull run thesis part 4. If you haven't checked it out, take a look into it. I base my stats on data, not exactly emotions. And that's just the way I look at it. All right, let me go further down. Let's see here. You have zero quant. I didn't understand it early. Oh, okay. Well, you can still get it because you know what? The way I look at it when it comes to quant, we are still early, even though it may not feel like it. You may feel like you're getting priced out of quant. You can always have a particular entry point. Because I look at quant kind of like how I look at Bitcoin back in 2013. It's roughly around that same price range. The difference is you have utility with quant, and you have a significantly less circulating supply, right? Roughly 14 million or so compared to 21 million with the likes of Bitcoin. All right. Rand states, I watch every night before bed. The video that Max talks about, Quant 2024, will be 100,000. Man, you can't imagine how I feel after I watch it. Yeah, that one's doing, we got a few videos. There's one in particular about the whole thing of 1% of Web3 equals like an insane market cap. I think it was like I don't know, maybe it was 1.4 trillion or something like that. And then it would also mention like the price per quant was like $103.6 thousand per quant. That particular video is like, I think 7,100 views or 7,200 is my biggest hit so far. So, but I don't try to always come out with ones like that because I don't want. Here's the thing: if I come out with a video that is always like that, Rand, then it creates false expectations, if you will, because for knowing it for myself as a content creator, but I kind of look at it kind of like from the perspective when I used to do gaming videos. I would have to feel like I have to hit it out of the park or hit a grand slam every single time, and then when I come out with a video just about good information or good positive catalysts and so on, then those videos suffer. So don't get me wrong. If I make a statement about over 100,000 or even 50,000 or whatever the case be, I want to have something to back it up. I don't want to just come out with a figure out of thin air. And I think you guys have seen it, especially, well, you have obviously because you've been watching some of the recorded, but yeah, I want to have something to kind of back up some of those particular claims and so on. And don't get me wrong, I take a lot of heat from that from some of the naysayers, but for all the naysayers, we get, oh my gosh, like let's say you take 100 people, you might get like 2 or 3 naysayers, and you got about 93 who really see what we're talking about. And obviously, you know what we're talking about too. I'm so much more excited about quant than I am about Bitcoin because, I missed the boat on Bitcoin. Technically speaking, when people say to me, well, some people have been in the crypto a lot longer than me. if I'm being technical, I've been into crypto since 2016 with Bitcoin, right? But as far as getting really, really active in altcoins, it's a little over 2 years. Altcoins is where it's at. It's just the rate of return is so much more significant, in my opinion, than just going out and just buying one full Bitcoin and then hoping that it goes from these price levels to let's face it, we could very well get to 100,000. I'm not saying that we won't, but I can do that with altcoins, and I could do it for a lot less, and so can you. Not financial advice, but that's the way I look at it. Let's go further down. But I mean, if you have the means to do both, then obviously you're going to do both. I mean, I know a lot of you guys, for instance, you own maybe a full Bitcoin or a couple or more. Some of you guys have been stacking up on ETH not because you're you understand that Ethereum is slow. You understand that Ethereum, there's still opportunity with Ethereum. So that's my thing is I understand a lot of these things are slow and inundated, but is there still opportunity? Okay, if there's still opportunity, I'm not going to create like tribalism when it comes to that. It's because at the end of the day, being a fanboy of anything is not going to exactly pay my bills, or it's not going to get me to the next level. What's going to get me to the next level is understanding opportunity. Perfect example, distressed assets. Do you think I'm a fan of VGX being distressed? Well, maybe from the point of view that I could pick it up for a lot less than it was and flip it, but I'm not a fan of tribalism. Anyway, I think most of you guys aren't fans of tribalism, but some of you guys are. All right, Tim Shea states, hold on, before I get to Tim Shea, sorry. In a bearish market, I fill my bags with utility tokens. While they are crying, I am buying. Yep. Tim Shea states, GBEX is another great ISO-friendly token on the ZenFin network. Good point. All right. I know that's towards Ray, but I'll go ahead and read that. Your goal is 100 quant. That's a great goal. Yeah, I would like to make that my goal as well in the future. My goal is just right now to get to 20 quant, but wow, brilliant alpha max. Well, thanks. I don't really know what specifically you're referring to, but thank you. All right. Crypto McDizzle Foshizzle. XRP has surpassed 20 billion market cap. Bullish. Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. We'll get into some of that specifically in a bit. Maybe we'll just go ahead and show it right now, actually, now it's on our mind. Let's go ahead and show it real quick. So much for the 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out. I know I try, but sometimes we don't do it. All right, so let's look at this. There's IOTA, obviously. Nice thing about XRP, we just go to the front page, right? So we're sitting at 1.06 trillion market cap, and on this, we see that Bitcoin is back to 23,000, which is good. XRP is still ranked number 6, sitting at 41 cents, and yeah, Crypto McDizzle for show is right, 20,893,000,000 for XRP. We do have a circulating supply of 50,803,000,000. All right, so good to see that. And let's kick it back into the comments. Stellar XLM under radar. Yeah, not for me though. The way I look at it is I have doubled my position on that because of how cheap it was. But I have a decent amount of that. I have a decent amount of XRP. I had a couple friends, actually close friends, my 2 best friends, I should say, calling me about, I can't get XRP anymore. You'll get on a KuCoin, man. Oh, okay. I'm telling you, like, you guys got to get some XRP before it's too late. Anyway, I know people are going to say, well, what about Larry? Yeah, that's a good point. All right, Rayan, Selmo, bro, just buy it every week, a month, just 2 or 3, add, 20. Oh, trust me, when it comes to Selmo, he's been in this game for a long time, so I'm sure he knows what he's doing when it comes to that. Anyway, Crypto McDizzle for shizzle, low caps, ALBT, hashtag CCX. And Tim Shea says, Mike, I tell anyone that listens ALBT. I definitely listen as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. Anyway, Mass Debater states there's a bunch of AI tokens which are microcaps and will do a mad one. Good point. I know you're a big fan of some of those. I'm a fan of some of those as well. I would have liked to have gotten into, for instance, Singularity Net. That's probably one of my favorite ones out there. Green Candle Fanatic states quant will be the same as Bitcoin in the future. Value, that is. All right. Filecoin is great. Yeah, I've pointed that out many times that I feel as though, I know you're talking to Tim, but it's a great swing trade slash, long-term hold. I think it's great for both. I think they're also a real threat to Amazon. Anyway, because, I mean, basically they accomplish what Amazon is already doing, but on the blockchain. If you really want to look at give you the quick gist of it. Yep. Filecoin is a good one. All right. Crypto McDizzle, we already went 3x on AOBT, a little over 3x. You would have to get to all-time highs to get to 3x on Bitcoin. On AOBT just started, still got 100x from here plus. Yep, good point. Rand says, yes, bro, Filecoin is not a joke. I saw a lot on this coin. Yeah, I don't think it's a joke either. Mass Debater states, then, of course, you have SDAO and AGIX, CCX Conceal. You get some clarification from Crypto Mike about that. All right. And if anything, Larry says, hit the like button, please. Yes, thank you, Larry, for pointing that out. Please hit the like button if you guys don't mind. Something free. Doesn't cost you anything. That's all we ask. All right, so let's go ahead and kick back into this particular segment. Still on quant. I want to try to squash some FUD. Let me go ahead and read this real quick, though. Flare is up almost 12% on the day with a market of 400 billion right now. That's nothing for what this will be used for. All right, yeah, Flare is definitely on my list. I don't know if it's on my short list, but it's definitely on my list. All right, so yeah, I want to go ahead and try to squash some FUD. So if anything, I'm going to give you guys an intro to a particular deep dive that I'm going to do. So be on the lookout for this, because the way I look at it is when people try to FUD quant, I do try to see if there's anything where we could squash it, right? So anyway, here this is. I'm going to show you this in a moment. So I don't always do this. Sometimes I share comments, but there's a particular individual who I don't really try to give, attention to, people that try to put out a lot of FUD. But nonetheless, yeah, here's this. So this guy, Bogdan, right? He says, for instance, anytime we put out quant video, he's like, a lie is a lie, no matter how small it is. 14.8 million CEO, Gilbert Verdian lied about the extra 200,000. Right. So remember in the past, there's a guy who was trying to FUD LCX about the supply, and then Monty Messinger finally cleared it up, and then it was just crickets after that, right? Somebody asked me about the use cases about XRP and XLM. He was like, there's no use cases. And I was like, oh boy, where do I start? Gave him a whole outline. It's been crickets ever since, literally crickets. I'm telling you flat out, there's gonna be crickets with this dude here in a bit. Anyway, he says 14.8 million. CEO lied about the extra 200,000. Okay. Does he even know about Gilbert Verdian's background? Why would Gilbert do that? But anyway, he said, and then another video, he lied about quant supply. I mean, just constant FUD. We'll never see 10,000, not even 5K. I mean, this guy, just every chance he gets, he tries to post about, how much he doesn't like quant and how, Gilbert Verdian's a liar and all that. All right. So with that said, shout out to who? Shout out to Greg Lunt, who provided a particular Twitter space addressing addressing the FUD, right? So I want to show you guys this real quick. And if anything, let's get into it right here. Greg Lunt was featured one day ago on the Quamfi show, which I know some of you guys watch this. I'm gonna give it a like. But on top of that, Greg Lunt, like I mentioned, not last Thursday, but the Thursday before, did a Twitter space. And of course, I retweeted it, trying to promote it, because he's a great quant researcher. I mean, he knows quant like the back of his hand. Anyway, addressing the whole thing about the discrepancy in that circulating supply. This is just a preview about the deep dive that I'm going to get into, because this will take way too long to do it on this particular show. But here it is. It's addressing just that, about the whole thing with the circulating supply for quant. Here we go. Let's go ahead and start right now.
Because I just think it was a mistake. I don't think there's just no, I just can't imagine Tim's point, this scenario where Gilbert, who's offering to burn 10 million tokens, based on goodwill and keeping the faith, and knows and he's the most regulated dude ever, and he understands the blockchain can trace every single thing, and he's going to go and be like, let's just put some on the side for us and not talk about it. Yeah, right. Like, he's not. So
273,000 tokens.
Yeah, exactly. I think somebody just made a fucking mistake.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way that he's gonna, throw away all that background he's had and so on for 20 plus years, writing the ISO standard. Back in, was it 2014 with ISO TC 307, going through all the trouble, what they're accomplishing with Quant to pull some sinister BS in the background. I'm with Greg Lunt. I don't see that as well. So I'm going to take more of a deeper dive into that particular Quanfi show. I've already squashed FUD when it comes to the whole thing of, Quant is an ERC20 token. I'm not going to get into that. Yeah, we squashed the FUD with that. Let's squash it a little bit more. And every time, at every opportunity I can get where I can have something solid to squash any FUD, not just about Quant, but anything, I'm going to do that, because there's a lot of, let's face it, misinformation when it comes to some of the things that we're in, and it needs to be squashed. So if anything, be on the lookout for that. Probably will come out in the morning tomorrow. That's my goal. I'm going to try to get that out. I don't know how long the video is going to be, but I'll try to, get to the point as much as I can. And if anything, I think a lot of you guys appreciate that. So, any more questions or comments you guys have, feel free to put them in. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. We are going to kick it into our new, or I should say new, our next segment, which is a little bit more in regards to Quant, but not in regards to Squash and FUD. This is from San, who we feature some of his particular tweets and so on. Let me get into that right now. But yeah, it's a multi-thread, I should say. So it says, Quant's multi-ledger token, developed 3 years ago, works the same and runs additionally on private DLTs, as well as it has, for instance, Burn/Mint's legacy with fiat, right? The ultimate interoperability token. And we know, for instance, it says this right here. Actually, I'll keep it. It's kind of blurry right there. I do apologize. So it says multi-ledger tokens, MLT, minting multi-DLT stablecoins from fiat funds. Who is it for? Well, we have to mention this because what's being worked on as we speak, again, Quant stands out with the CBDCs. So look, this is for central banks, fintechs, trading consortia, closed loop payments, marketplaces, and micro payment platforms. Now, if you're wondering, if you just connected to the show and are listening for the first time, when I say something like marketplaces and you're thinking, Quant, huh? Really? I thought they're just focused on interoperability and central banks and those types of things. No, it's marketplaces are definitely something they stand out for. And I'll state again, the QRC 721 is something you need to look more into, because again, they bring an extra layer of security for NFTs, and that's where that particular statement comes from, especially with what they do with MDApps and so on. So it states, how does it work? Well, funds are held in escrow with a financial institution, and tokens to the same value are issued. On top of that, you're going to find out that you have, for instance, these funds can be then used on any DLT or a mixture of DLTs, public or private, and Quant patented multi-ledger token, which is MLT, technology is applied. This ensures that wherever the tokens are used, changes of ownership are recorded on the original DLT and a clear auditable record is maintained. The nature of MLT means that the tokens are open and can be used on new and different DLTs as they emerge or as use cases grow. And there's been multiple use cases, to say the least, when it comes to Quant. Like I mentioned before, do you know of a single cryptocurrency out there, or crypto project, product, service, whatever you want to refer to it as, Quant's Overledger? Do you know of a single one that has multiple layers of utility compared to Quant? Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other ones that have great upside potential, but I'm talking about multiple layers of utility. Quant definitely takes the cake. All right. On top of that, I want to show you guys this. It says this technology is being mass implemented by the IDB, owned by 48 banks. owned by 48 banks. 48 banks currently speaking using Quant's technology, and it's ever growing. Ever growing, yes. And for instance, across 12 Latin American countries, how do we know that? LAC chain. You want to learn more about that? Check out the recorded section. We break it down multiple times. And when it comes to specifically that LAC chain, they bring a whole huge layer of utility to that specific region of the world. Each participant can bring their own technologies and legacy infrastructure. Infrastructure. Kind of funny how that got brought up again. And MLT tokens run on it all. MIT Quant made a paper on it, right? MIT and Quant wrote a freaking paper on it. And there's a little bit more in regards to it. Here's the particular paper. It comes from Assets.net website and files. If you want to see a little bit of it, we're going to highlight some of this. So look at this. You see, for instance, excuse me. You can see on the stamp, Quant, MIT Connection Science, implementing a CBDC. Remember when I was talking about this before? There was people, I kid you not, who did not believe me when it came to this. They thought I was making a bunch of crap up. Oh, this guy's just a YouTuber. He don't know squat. He's trying to draw the connection. Until I see somebody say that's actually Quant, I'm not going to believe it. Okay? I call that like, sorry to say they use this term. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I call it like being like, a crypto atheist, basically. Until you see it actually on a page, you're not going to believe it. You're not going to draw your own connections. Even I just gave you an outline. Well, here's the freaking outline. Here's the freaking proof. Quant, MIT, boom, right there on a white paper. So all the non-believers, there you go. You want to talk about infrastructure? Boom, there it is right there. How about this? Each participant can bring their own technology and legacy infrastructure and MLT tokens and run all of it on just that, right? They made a freaking paper. Now look at this. Implementing a CBDC, a way forward. Quant's blockchain payments, offering a thing called multi-ledger token, aka MLTS, by the way, provides a proven mechanism for meeting all the requirements of CBDC described above. Remember when we were talking about how, for instance, Gilbert went to the New York Fed? And he, by the way, he used to work there for a while. I believe it was over a year, maybe 2 years in the past. Then we drew the connection a while back about how he went to MIT. He was literally in the Massachusetts area. You think I was just making that up to make it up just to get views? No. Here's more of that particular proof. So we already established that connection. It says provides a proven mechanism to meet all the requirements of CBDCs described above is a solution which implements the IMS semi-decentralized model and enables simple and flexible implementation of synthetic CBDC. I will say a little bit more. It can be used by banks as a more flexible type of stablecoin. What's the other ones out there that we know that have ties to stablecoins? And if anything, are going to be stablecoins? Stellar, for crying out loud, right? XLM. No, I'm not talking about a 1-1 ratio. Get that out of your head. I'm talking about, for instance, becoming real solid stablecoins. So now you see, for instance, Quant, you see that it mentions here in this section, we look into detail how Quant MLTS works. In brief, like it mentions, funds are going to be used as collateral, or I should say held in escrow with a financial institution such as a central bank or large regional bank, and tokens to the same value are issued/minted on private DLT. These funds can be used on any DLT or mixture of DLTs, public or private. And listen to this, Quant patent and multi-ledger token MLT technology is applied. And by the way, for all those people asking me, is Quant's technology patented? There you go. Boom. All right, let's get a little bit down into this particular model. It says the Quant MLTS model. Why does this matter? It does matter. You need to listen about this. So it says at the core of the MLTS system is a ledger of interbank retail and wholesale payments. How many times have we heard about this before? It doesn't matter if it's just, XRP, for instance. You hear the likes of Quant. So this receives transaction fees in real time from financial institution DLTs via an API. How many times have we seen the API connection, payment APIs, PayPal, you name it, right? We also seen banking APIs, right? So it's not just banking APIs, but we're also seeing on just regular Joe Schmo peer-to-peer end of it, right? The Quant connection. On top of that, you can see that the ledger can be operated by a central bank or other PSO, which by the way means payment system operator. Multiple ledgers can be deployed if, for example, a central bank needs to separate retail and wholesale payments, which they will. The system allows institutions to handle accounts in multiple currencies. Interesting. How do we know that? Well, for instance, what they're doing with the LAC chain, Latin American digital dollar, right? Also what they're doing with the UK, and also what they're going to be doing by the end of 2025 here in the United States. A settlement interface is also provided to ensure that escrow funding levels properly reflect tokenized payments. Why wouldn't the likes of LCX want to partner with Quant if they are the tokenization of blockchain bank? Basically, they're looking to become a bank, right? On top of that, it says, while we use the term bank in this paper, the Quant MLTS can operate by any, or can be operated by any bank or other regulated institution. This is why we made the statement before that when it comes to Quant, you want to talk about being regulation safe. I don't know of anything else that would be more regulated or regulation safe, if you will, right? Very, very impressive. I think that's about it in regards to specifically that. I know I got kind of hot in regards to that, but I mean, it drives me crazy sometimes. You know, some people are like, "Oh yeah, man, you don't know what you're talking about," unless they see, you know, it labeled right here. They're not working with MIT. Come on, man. How much more blatant can it be? I wish I could blow that up more. Quant, MIT Connection Science, the technology of innovation. Both wrote a freaking white paper about implementing a CBDC. Please. All right. Let's get more further into the comments. Here we go. All right. So we got Larry. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. Welcome back, Bruce Wadowski. Schultz says, I see nothing. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Bruce. Good to see you. Yeah. I see nothing. I know nothing. Yeah. That was back in Hogan's Heroes. Or was it Kelly's Heroes? Hogan's Heroes. Yeah, that's the one. All right. Mass states XRP and XLM are interoperable, guys. They are so interoperable that they work together seamlessly. If that is, well, yeah, I mean, they are. But I'm just saying, when it comes to typically speaking, there's a lot of blockchains that make the claims of being fully interoperable, but in reality, they require at least one layer of blockchain. You know, think about this, the overlying layer for a blockchain, they have to get another blockchain involved to do that. With Quant, ever wonder why it's called Overledger? It means just what it sounds. So for instance, they don't need another blockchain because, as we know, when it comes to Quant, with the Overledger, that is a particular operating system. It's blockchain agnostic. All right, let's go further down. GS says, just need Jerome to FUD the markets to get discounts. Yeah, that's, I guess, for everybody who is like, oh man, you know, it looks like it is going to be a bull market. You know, when things like that happen, then we have a pullback and so on. And then you can, if anything, you can have your last chances of DCAing at reasonably priced levels. I mean, even with some of these recent pumps, if you compare it to like the beginning of 2022, still these prices blow all that away. All right, Green Candle Fanatic. If you think of Quant like a web that wraps over blockchains, it is the web in Web3. That's a great analogy. That looks like something you and Menelect ought to get together and put together some, like, just some really great quotes. You guys both have really good one-liners. Tim Shades, yes, we will at least get a dip when we hear Jerome's voice. That's a good point. I just don't know about a massive crash, but it could happen. Mass Debater states, I said character GPT, not chat GPT. Character GPT uses artificial. Well, excuse me. All right. Sorry. Sometimes I read things real fast. So my apologies. Don't bite my head off, bro. Anyway. Mass Debater, I'll look into it. Thanks. And for instance, Green Candle Fanatic says peace. All right. Let's get further into it. I don't know, not exactly the greatest attendance tonight, but that's all right. I do appreciate everybody who's here. Let's get more further into this. And if anything, it's now shifting our focus on the news coverage to what? Ripple's XRP. So let's get right into that. And if anything, this comes straight from USA Today. Yeah, mainstream news. Wow, that's a That's a first for a long time, right? So it says Ripple will win now, zero doubt. And that's what we all want, right? We want, of course, there not to be doubts. We've been hearing about this for the longest times. People coming out. I don't even follow as much when it comes to like, oh yeah, finally comes out with this thing, they got this, new thing about the Hinman, all this stuff, right? I still follow it, don't get me wrong, but I don't put as much emphasis because my thing is I just want to hear the judgment already. I want to hear that, the SEC is not going to win. It's a win for Ripple, win for crypto. Just let's get it done, right? So it says Ripple will now win, zero doubt. Crypto law founder says, but there's a catch. What's the catch? Let's get into that. So as you guys know, John Deaton, you should know who he is by now, but if you don't, it's all right. He says he is positive now that should Ripple case move to the U.S. Supreme Court, the crypto giant would definitely win. And that's the way I look at it too. I think, like as the saying goes, cooler heads will prevail. They will realize that when you look more into the nitty gritty of Ripple's XRP, that it is not a security. So let's get into this. It says, for instance, pro crypto lawyer John Deaton, who is also, by the way, the founder of Crypto Law Media Outlet, has taken to Twitter to comment on the current case of Grayscale against the SEC regarding the conversation of GBTC into a Bitcoin ETF. However, he took this topic a little further and made a comment regarding the current lawsuit between, the SEC and Ripple, right? So Deaton is positive a Grayscale's possible win. He commented basically that he feels as though there's a chance that the case between Grayscale could be moved to the U.S. Supreme Court. And with that said, he added that the sharp legal sources are impressed with Grayscale's brief in front of the D.C. Circuit and believes that a win is possible. Okay, great, right? But look at this. The founder of Crypto Law stated that he reckons a win is, quote, more than possible. And I feel as though, like a lot of people feel that, when it comes to all this, whereas Grayscale, you name it, it leans more towards in favor of, Ripple or Grayscale, you name it, not just, for instance, I hardly ever see anybody say, oh, the SEC is going to win this. Who usually says that? It's the naysayers, right? People who are anti-Ripple, right? So it states right here, it says, considering the odds that Grayscale will win in the D.C. Circuit Court to be 50-50, and should the case move to the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, the chances to win that would be 75-80, which 75 to 80% win against the SEC, I should say. Deaton believes that the denial of Grayscale's request to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF while the regulator has already allowed Bitcoin futures and shorts ETFs are arbitrary and capricious. So yeah, he has zero doubt about ruling in favor of Ripple in regards to specifically Ripple. He states that at the current makeup of the U.S. Supreme Court, it will rule in favor of Ripple if it goes that far. I'll state for the record too, if it went that far, I feel as though the only thing that's going to suck about it is it's going to be more of a delay to finally get like a correct judgment. And this is where people have stated, I think even Sean, aka the Crypto Smith, has stated that this is where this thing could get drug out through the mud multiple years, right? I hope it doesn't come to that, but I also realize at the same time, if it did, let's face it, it would inevitably be a win for the likes of Ripple. There's a little bit more in regards to this specific information straight from USA Today. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It was nice to see his particular outlook in regards to this. And then on top of that, we are going to get more into the comments here and then kick it into some of the last bit of our news. We are about an hour and 18 minutes into the show. And we have GPuma83. He told his wife he wanted to get some quant. She said, let's get it. I'm always ready. LOL. Wow. Nice. As Borat would say, very nice. Yes, you miss. So, hey, man. Nice. Very nice. Part of being married, I guess. The married life. All right. Welcome back, GPuma83. Let's get into the XDC coverage we have for you. It's not really XDC, I should say. It's kind of like XDC, XRP, XLM. It has to do with regulations in regards to Binance CEO CZ So let's get right into that. Let's go ahead and start that. This comes from Crypto Ready. Shout out to him. Here we go. So this is only about a minute, and we'll come back for some post commentary.
Binance CEO CZ has this to say on stricter crypto regulations. Speaking on the recently released 5-point crypto regulation scheme by the IMF, CZ claims them to be highly beneficial and good for crypto and its related business. According to CZ, the most effective method of user protection is risk-based regulation that is implemented on a worldwide scale. And he said that outright bans will just lead to users operating in the shadows at their own risk and without any safety net. Guys, everybody's talking about regulations, clarity. I think it's coming this year, guys. So I hope you are ready, because this is all a show. They are scaring people as much as they can with all these exchanges going down. People are losing loads of money, which is bringing us closer to the days of regulation. And when regulations come in, guys, it is going to be a bit more difficult. We don't know how bad they're going to be for the average person. So I hope you're ready. Binance CEO.
Well, I know this. I'm ready. I am definitely ready when it comes to getting some regulatory clarity, because I feel as though once that happens, massive waves of institutional money comes in. And if anything, that's going to be the most exciting time ever for crypto. Forget about the likes of meme coins and stuff like that. It's going to be these utility-based cryptos, to say the least, because that's where we get insane market caps like we never seen before. This is where, if you've been investing since late 2020, early 2021, we heard people state that by 2030, we should have at least 50%, if not more, of the world adopting crypto, right? So it starts out, in my opinion, with the institutional money from the financial sectors and so on. Then after that, we should get a big wave of retail coming in, because they're going to see this thing explode. Kind of like the whole concept of FOMO in general. Why don't people want to come into crypto at these low prices? Casper, some of these other ones, right? At these prices? Well, we want to, but let's face it. When FOMO happens, and it will, people will be spending too much, and because they think that's the way to go about it. That's just the reality of it. Doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, doesn't matter if it's some of these ISOs, whatever the case be, people will FOMO. All right. I want to bring to your attention a little bit in regards to ALBT. So we do have some coverage in regards to specifically ALBT. Let's go ahead and jump right into that. And if anything, let me know what you guys think about this. So here it is. And it states, we believe in decentralization and have consistently worked towards promoting the values of fairness, transparency, participation, and sustainability. Transitioning to a DAO, yeah, I know, hear me out, structure ensures our no mercy community helps shape Alliance Block's future. Now, I went to this particular YouTube video, and of course, this is where you're going to see Rashid Ajaha featured on a particular individual who has about, I don't know, he has about 695 subscribers and so on. I'm not making fun of it. I think it's awesome that the CEO of Alliance Block is not too good for whatever type of YouTuber or community person out there. That is awesome. And that's why I feel as though, Larry, if you're watching, we should reach out to this guy and see if you'd be willing to come here, because that'd be super cool. But yeah, the guy that hosted it, his name is Pittsburgh Hodler. Shout out to him for landing, such a prestigious, crypto project such as Alliance Block on his particular show. That was incredible. So yeah, I would show you guys more about this, but the show, or I should say that particular, I guess you could say it's a show. It's about an hour and 11 minutes. But look at this, for instance, it says, we'll read it one more time, blow it up a little bit for you guys. So again, in the picture is the CEO of Alliance Block. It states Alliance Block will become a DAO. It's not like there is an if, they are, which means that they are going to go into this pure philosophy of a participatory economy by decentralizing our technology and governance. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys fans of DAOs? If so, have you had a good experience with DAOs? is there any particular DAOs that you recommend as we speak, other than, I mean, because Alliance Block isn't officially into this yet. They are going into this. But let me know about some of the experiences you've had in regards to DAOs. I'd like to hear about it in the comments if you want. But yeah, it was really cool to see that in regards to ALBT. It just shows that they're just a little bit more transparent than maybe that we all thought, right? I like that. This is not the first time, I want to state, that I saw, for instance, Rashid Ajaha featured with another particular content creator. We saw, for instance, there was Tokenizer. Daniel Gayton did a particular video about it. We showed you guys a quick glimpse in regards to that. So yeah, shout out to Rashid Ajaha, founder and CEO of Alliance Block, for being even that much more transparent and helping the community. I think that's the main thing, is community support. He recognizes it. Really, really cool. I'm gonna kick it back in the comments if there is any here for a brief moment. And let's see. Crypto Smith says, "Happy Friday, Max. Same to you. The floating head is hilarious." Yeah, you like that, huh? All over the place. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe some people don't like it. I don't know. Yes, we can invite them. Okay. But good to see you, Sean. We'll give you a plug. How about that? Let's give Mr. Sean, the Crypto Smith, a plug. So if you haven't done so already, go to let me pull this up real quick. It's the space Crypto Smith. Let me see. Here it is. I'm going to show it real quick. Window. There we go. Here he is. He is forging some cryptos together. By the way, he has a live stream every Saturday, unless I'm mistaken. Every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, called Straight Talk. And, you know, you have to keep in mind, if you're not straight, you are not going to be welcome there. No kidding. Not like that. No, it's not that type of straight talk. But now, nonetheless, it's Straight Talk. It's a live show. Here it is. And if anything, he also does some videos. Obviously, talks about MMAI, excuse me, MetaMonkey AI. He talks about, for instance, XRP. He talks about XLM. He talks about some of these other ones, Pando Project, Optimus, some of these other ones. So, you know, he's getting some momentum. He's up to 1,500 subscribers now. Shout out to him for that. Yeah, give him a sub. It's the space Crypto Smith. And if you're wondering why do I mention this and so on, well, if anything, he's just a good overall person. He's knowledgeable about crypto. And on top of that, how about this? He joins us every single Wednesday for the most part, unless you got something else going on. But yeah, we have what they call the Crypto Roundtable. And that's every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. I would have joined last time, but I had to go pick up my dad from the hospital at that time. But yeah, it's a really cool thing we have going on. And nonetheless, support our fellow brother in the crypto space, Sean the Crypto Smith. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Let's kick it back into the comments. And Crypto Smith is saying hello to Larry. Oh, damn, I didn't even think about that. Oh, the whole straight talk, you mean? Yeah. Well, I doubt you're going to do that way. Hi, welcome. This is Straight Talk. No, that'd be horrible. Why would you talk like that? Anyway, the Crypto Smith, maybe I'm excluding some people with my title. No, if people are that darn ridiculous to not understand that you're just, you know, a straight shooter, but I'll just make it a joke. I had nothing against people who, never mind. This is going a whole different way. Anyway, let's highlight that. Let's kick it back into a little bit more of our coverage. In this particular segment is a closing segment. We're going to get into specifically some of the cryptos I've been looking into. So if anything, let's check out the top 100 real quick. I'm going to show you some way in which you can see it. And here we go. So obviously we're sitting at 1.06 trillion. It's a slight increase. Again, don't get tunnel vision when you see this, when it says like, oh, it's only up 1%. In reality, compare this to bottom. So bottom was basically during the times of the FTX collapse, right? We saw roughly a global market cap of about 755 billion briefly, maybe 760, somewhere in that particular area. This is where Bitcoin was basically like in the 15s. Now it says, it's in the 23s. Understand there's a difference between the start of a bull run and difference between all-time highs. Again, like I stated before, if you want to see one of our last deep dive videos, part 4 of the bull run thesis, check it out. I base things on, again, like I mentioned, data, not emotions, not opinions, or as Mike Cornwell will say, math doesn't have emotions, I think is what he said, something like that. Anyway, let's see what's going on in the 1 hour. OKB is up 4%. Threshold did a lot actually within this last week. It was up over 101%. On the 24-hour chart, we have, for instance, Gala. Larry, by the way, I just watched one of your Gala videos from way back then, where you felt as though it could go as high as $1 at some point. That was an interesting video, to say the least. It was pretty cool. He looked pretty good in a non-gay way. Anyway, no homo, as you would say. But anyway, 28% is 20 on the 24-hour chart. It's up 28%. Also on the 7-day chart, it's up 26.62%. Even at these particular prices, I feel as though Gala is a steal compared to where we're at before. It is something that may switch to my short list, believe it or not, because I look at what they are trying to do as far as being games that people would realistically play that are tied to blockchain. And when it comes to, let's face it, a lot of games that are on blockchain, they don't really stand out compared to your traditional, like for me, I'm a PC gamer, right? Don't get me wrong, I have some console, but my heart and soul is PC gaming, right? So for a person like me, I'm not really too gung-ho playing some of these quote-unquote blockchain games. But I've been looking more into Gala, and you can say what you want. They have some pretty decent games. So you do see that, this is up 119, 120% in volume. You have a verified market cap of 431 million, and they're currently ranked 89th. They're in the top 100. Combine this with the, having promotion from the likes of The Rock, who was it, Mark Wahlberg, I think, and so on. Not that I'm saying that, it's great to have celebrities promote things, because look how, look what happened to FTX, but that's beyond the point. The whole thing with FTX is like, I don't really hold anything against Shaq, or, whether you're a fan of Tom Brady or not, or, especially Steph Curry and so on. When I hear about people wanting to sue these particular individuals, you shouldn't be going after them. You should be going after who? Sam Bankman-Fried, maybe Caroline Ellison, people like that, not these particular guys. So anyway, whether Gala has these celebrities endorsing it or not, I still think there's a lot of opportunity here, and that's my main thing. Is it's a dirt cheap, and there's tremendous upside potential with this. I'm looking at from perspective that I remember I think it was late 2021. Let me double check this, that this went to all-time highs. Yep. So right after the all-time highs for Bitcoin and Ethereum that happened on 11/11/2021, you saw Gala go up to about 74 cents. And I remember a lot of people got in like right around here. I remember this in September, and there's a lot of talk. I mean, a lot of quote unquote top influencers are covering this, and they still do. That was a huge jump. Some people were comparing this to like similar to Dogecoin. Why were they doing that? Well, if anything, like let's say a person came in at like roughly a penny. Like, keep in mind, I came into Dogecoin roughly around a penny. Like actually it was a penny. I meant slightly, I can't remember. But basically it averaged out to a penny. So the reason why they made that comparison is because Dogecoin went to all-time highs of about 72, 74 cents. Look at this. Gala, similar circumstance, right? Roughly the same amount. So it's kind of like somebody like myself who basically put in 300 and bought like say 30,000 Dogecoin for a penny a piece. Flip that for like $22,000, $23,000. It was a very similar situation. Literally, look at the prices. So I see this in a new bull market. We're talking like where we have many other projects get to, like, for instance, new all-time highs. I could see this superseding that previous all-time high. That's just how I personally feel about it. If I do get into this, I'll definitely let you guys know. I know a lot of you guys are into this, but if anything, I still feel as though that even with this recent pump of 27% and still climbing, it's still a decent entry point compared to these people that came in, for instance, at 10, 11 cents fall of 2021. That's still a big difference, to say the least. I probably wouldn't come in right now at this thing pumping 28 cents. I'm probably going to wait, but I don't know. I mean, it just depends. I mean, but I'm looking at this from a perspective of it's still fairly low market cap, technically speaking, compared to other projects that are in the billions. I just feel as there's a lot of upside potential with Gala. So it's definitely been on my list. Before we kick into the comments, I want to point out a few more things I saw. So another thing I want to point out, for instance, is a little bit further down here, which is Zilliqa. Zilliqa is no longer in the 2-cent range. It's now at 3 cents. They have a slight pump. Algorand is now at 26 cents. This is right around a little bit above the price I paid for it, so I have to double check if I have profits on that. Of course, I got into the graph a while back. It's still on my list to cover Tezos and some of these other ones. But yeah, look at Casper, guys. We talked about it earlier, and it's up a little bit, 6.5% up from where it was at before. But still very, very undervalued. Literally, when we say top 100, I mean, come on, man. It's right at 99th, sitting at 0.0362. You have, for instance, let's click on it real quick. You have a confirmed market cap of 387 million. The volume is up about 93%, sitting at 16.9 million. I wonder if they show, for instance, how many holders. I don't think there's a lot of holders in this, but okay, they don't show it. Some things on CMC that don't show completely. Somebody said that the ICO, which is initial coin offering, was sitting at a penny. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so it's a little bit overpaid. It was about a penny and a half. All right, so that's interesting. And the original pairings was for USDT and USDC. All right. Another thing I want to show you guys before we kick it back into the comments here in a brief bit, and that is some of these other ones I see on this particular list. So give me just a second, pull this up. Again, this is just top 100. So let's get further down into it. This is one I'm going to look more into. ICP. I keep seeing this pop up. Whether you're a fan of DPGmaximus or not, he had this in his top 5. And, I'm just looking at it from, the perspective of opportunity. I'm not looking at it from any other perspective, not just because he's mentioned it and so on. But I'm looking at it from this perspective right here. I'm going to show you this real quick. Again, I need to take more of my own deep dive. Now, some people say, well, this is a solid rug pull. Well, I don't know about that. But, again, I need to research it more. But I'm looking at it from a perspective of, originally, this was as high as $429. What the heck happened, right? And why does something like BitBoy all of a sudden this is on his top 5? Really? And let's face it, whether you're a fan of him or not, he does talk about quite a few other crypto. He talked about Quant. He's talked about LCX. Obviously, we feature that. Some of these other ones. I think he even talked about ALBT at one point. But where the case be, for him to have this in his top 5, that interests me. Why is that? I need to learn more about this, because if there's even anything significant at all that happens with this, let's say, for instance, this doesn't even touch original all-time highs of 428. Let's say it just goes to 200. I'm cool with that. I mean, who wouldn't be? So I want to learn more about Internet Computer, aka ICP. It's in the top 50. What the heck is going on with this? And yeah, I want to find out more about that. All right, I'm gonna kick it back in the comments for a brief bit, show you a little bit more in regards to what's going on CMC, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about. All right. So yeah, I'm just gonna show this one last thing, and let's get into it. So that is not it. Dang it. Let me bring that up again. All right. Window. There we go. All right. So CMC. Here's my particular watch list. Let me get that. Floki is up. Wow. Okay. Somebody must have tweeted about Elon Musk's dog or something. Anyway, ALI has been obviously a great swing trade. Some people want it for long term. The nice thing about it is you can get it on crypto.com, right? It's the ease of access, especially for the newcomers. Shout out to Tim Shea with your Flux, man. That's awesome, man. It's up to 82 cents. I remember when this was like significantly cheaper than that. Did you DCA again to Flux, Tim? And then on top of that, I want to go further down. Here's Flare, currently ranked 25.95. Do they even have confirmed? No, they don't. I see it's in gray. So this will go significantly higher when CMC verifies it. But you know how CMC is; they're very political. But yeah, I need to take more of a deeper dive into Flare. Some of these other ones, Harmony 1, did go up from the 1 cent range to now it's over 2 cents. I am not even going to mess with SLC. The whole thing of taking a chance on that's just too much of a gamble. It's beyond gamble at this point. Devour is up 7%. That's cool. I like that team. A micro cap. All right, let's see here. I think there was a couple more that was on this particular list. Maybe I'm looking at it the other way. Here's one. Hydra. I remember that when it was $1.49. That's gone up to $1.88. Not too bad. And they still say they have the best overall staking, average staking. There's always at least like the bare minimum will be 20%, but they've averaged about 40% for the last couple of years, which is really cool. Even in crypto, bear market, crypto winter and so on. All right, here's what's on sale, at least on my particular list. I mean, you got to keep in mind there's a lot of garbage that's mixed in here and so on. So let's see here. We have Fit5. Larry and I covered that a long time ago. This is on crypto.com. I don't know if I'll get into that though, but maybe at some point I will. But it would have to be after it took profits from quite a few other things. This is sitting a little bit below 3 cents. At some point, I still want to get into eCash XEC. I should have got into it when this was all the way down to 0.401. This is formerly known as Bitcoin ABC. I know Mike Cornwell owns quite a bit of Bitcoin Pay on what should I call it? What is the name of that? Bitmart, aka Art, because that's basically what they have on there. All right, so ALBT, all right, it's finally pulling back, guys. It's down 4.22%. So we'll see how this goes. It looks like a lot of people are taking profits, obviously. We're going to zoom in a little bit on this. And if anything, if you're wondering about all-time highs originally, we always check this stuff once in a while. So September 5th, 2021, $1.23 roughly. Within the last 3 months, we saw this. Oh, geez. As low as about 4 cents. And then some of you guys saw it as high as 14 cents. So not too shabby. That's a little bit over. I don't know. That's not too bad, to say the least. A little over a 3x, slightly over 3x, and it's sitting a little bit below 13 cents. I still feel as though there's quite a bit of opportunity. It's in the top 500. But yeah, I have to check out a little bit more on what's going on with this. And on top of that, let's take a look at what else is on sale. Well, let me refresh that. That's pumping. We want what's on sale. All right, let me get further down on it. Obviously, audio is now going back the other way. This was as high as 36 cents. Now I did not take profits. I'm not going to. This is one I'm going to hold until it gets to new all-time highs because I see that happening. I'm looking to once it gets up to new all-time highs, I will, cash out. I'm looking to make about 4 to 5 grand on this particular one. I probably should have put a lot more into it, but this is one of those things, just trying to diversify my portfolio. Let's go further down here. Just a second. So a lot of people talk about Energy Web Token, EWT, sitting at $3.48. It is part of the Quantum Financial System, QFS. I do, believe it or not, you guys think I don't own any crap tokens. I don't really consider Robo Inu Finance crap, to be honest. I think it's a decent meme coin. I've held this for a long time, like well over a year now. I have a decent bag of this. At one point, I might be close to the profits actually on this particular one. I know that some of their team, what's her name, Miss V, used to be part of Saitama. But that doesn't mean I'm looking to get more into meme coins. I don't want people to think that, but this is one of a few that I still own from the days of when I got into meme coins. I do own this on Bitmart. Anyway, let's go a little bit further down before kicking into this. I'm considering getting at least 10 billion tectonic. I'm really on the edge of that. For instance, I really wish I would have came in at 7 zeros because, that would have been, God, 1,000 would have been $10,000 basically. I still feel like this is going to happen again. And I just look at tectonic from this perspective. You may think this is kind of lame, but I'm just being real. I look at it from the perspective of why Shiba Inu will continuously do well, why tectonic will continuously do well, and so on. It's the ease of access. Crypto.com is a standout centralized exchange. So first time crypto enthusiast or crypto, first time people got into crypto, they're going to go on, for instance, crypto.com, they're going to install the app, to do a little bit KYC. And then if anything, they just look at it from the perspective, I could buy, my buck is going to go the furthest without even researching it. It's just reality. Let's just be real about it. They're going to see this, and if anything, it will continuously have a decent level of volume. I do think that this is not the end of tectonic like we saw in the past. But at the beginning of this year, we saw it basically it was like 95%. My friend's into this. But if I was going to get a position in this, I'm looking to get, if you're asking me like, how many would you get? All right, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But for me personally, with the math, 10 billion tectonic makes sense, because when it races a zero, that's at least a 10x. If it raced more than a zero, like if it did 2, then that's significant. But we already seen this more than a few times within a couple years, or I should say not a couple years, like a year, a little over a year, where it has erased zeros. So based on those figures, like $1,000 into it, a little over 1,000. I mean, you got to keep in mind, the market fluctuates. This is one in which basically is like it's just that, it's a 10x. So $1,000, give or take, is like $10,000. And for me, I don't just cash some of the stuff out. I shift it, so I would basically swap that for some like, ones that are in the QFS, the Quantum Financial System, or, ISOs and whatnot. So that's when I call it like a power shift, right? So for all the quant that I don't have yet, or for all the other ones like Casper and some of these other ones, maybe I just do a shift that way. That's just the way I go about things. We all have our own things, because some crap happened in which I do need the extra cash. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll do that. But I'm just looking at that from that particular perspective. All right. Before we wrap things up on the show, there's a few other ones here. We did cover XCAD. There's another one I'm thinking about getting into. Like I mentioned before, I really was thinking about getting into it. But my thing is, like, I want to see them come out with that, that the utility already. It's like, they claim that it's just pending with the whole thing with Google and, Apple. Well, how long does that take? So we would love to be able to use something like that here, but we'll see what happens with it, because this could be a game changer. The tokenization of like Crypto Talk Now, or the tokenization of some things outside of crypto, right? Like let's say you have your favorite YouTube channels you go to, they're non-crypto related. Can you imagine the content creator applied the XCAD plugin, where you get paid to do what you're basically doing right now? This sounds great on paper, Don't get me wrong, but it's like we need to get an update ready. This has already been further into it. I'm gonna try to double check what's going on with XCAD, but if I get any hint like that we're close to it, maybe I do take the jump into it because if you have the likes of Mr. Beast, like I saw for instance that he's going to implement this and so on. He's the biggest guy in YouTube, let's face it. So XTC is extremely underrated, undervalued. It's no longer in the top 100. So what? I'm looking to get more of that. And guys, that's just about it. Obviously there's XRP here. But yeah, that's definitely just about it. I'm going to go ahead and read a couple more comments, or a few, I should say. And then I'm going to try to end the show here in a bit. Mr. Shaggins says, good morning from Scotland. Thank you for joining us here tonight, Mr. Shaggins. Mass states past 3 days ALBT, close to 200%. ALI, artificial liquid intelligence, plus 372%. AGIX, which is Singularity Net, 286%. FET, 192%. VAIOT 114%, ARAI 135, VXV is 104%, and SDAOs 72%. Those are some good picks, man. Still early, I agree. AI tokens really cooking, but I still say there is more room for growth. I agree. All right, let's go further down. David Fox is in the house. I'll try to answer some of your questions a little bit later, David, because you had some specific questions, and I didn't want to just give you like a quick answer on some of those specifics. So don't think I didn't see your questions. I did respond to some of it, but I want to give you a proper response. You have 325 quant, man. If that's the case, you'll be more than set. Anyway. But yeah, welcome, David, and you a beast, Mass. Yes, he is. All right, so guys, I want to thank you for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now. We're approaching the 2-hour mark. Hopefully you enjoyed this weird effect of the floating head. If you wondered who started this whole thing, it was Mike Cornwell, and a few of you guys hopped on the bandwagon of want me to get a green screen t-shirt. So you can't see it, but basically I am wearing a green screen t-shirt, and I don't know, maybe the next step in the future, maybe next Halloween or something, maybe I'll do green screen face paint, and then all you see is the beard and you see my eyeballs, and then maybe with a hat. I don't know, maybe I don't do the hat, but whatever the case be, I think it'd be kind of funny. So anyway, check out the particular deep dive. I'm going to go ahead and try to jump into it within, I don't know, maybe half an hour at the most after the show is over. I'm trying to squash some FUD in regards to the circulating supply for quant. I'm with Greg Lunt on that particular statement. Why would somebody like, Gilbert Verdian try to all of a sudden do something shady behind the scenes? It's just, that doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, nonetheless, guys, it's been a great show. Stay tuned tomorrow for some more Crypto Talk Now, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And again, look out for some of our particular recorded content. You can follow me, like you see right up here, at DPGmaximus on Twitter. If you want to send me any type of direct message, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm really good about answering you guys. And yeah, have a blessed night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Same Batman time, same Batman channel, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for Crypto Talk Now. Over and out, everybody. Have a great night.